Ve'ele mishpatim asher tasim lifnehem. Literally, it means these are the laws that you should put in front of the Israelites in the desert. The Midrash, in speaking about that verse, and you read the literal portion, it's talking about laws. What we know is the Zohar makes clear this is not talking about laws. The Midrash begins its commentary and explanation by saying, quoting a verse in Isaiah and Yeshaya, Ko amar Hashem, so said the Creator, Shimru mishpat. Now these two words are important. Literally it's translated as keep the law, Shimru mishpat, but that's not the secret of those words, but Shimru mishpat, keep the law, Ve'asu tzedakah, and do charity, Ki krova yeshuati lavo, because the redemption is coming soon, B'tzidkati lihigalot, and my justice, my righteousness will be revealed. That's the verse that the Midrash, that the Kabbalists 2,000 years ago said, if you want to understand this week's portion, you have to understand that verse in Isaiah. Shimru mishpat, keep, again in the literal translation, the law, Ve'asu tzedakah, and do charity, Ki krova yeshuati lavo, because my redemption is quick to come, B'tzidkati lihigalot, and my righteousness will be revealed. So they explain. We know that everything that occurs comes from the Creator. Ve'af hadavar asher nidme b'nei ha'adam lefi sha'a ki lera'atohu, even something that happens, that when an individual sees it in the moment, it seems to be negative. Aval basof mitgale lo shehadavar haya letovato. In the end, now the end might be next day, or next month, or next year, or 10 years, or 50 years. But at the end, the individual will come to realize that all those things that seem to be negative for him or for her were really for his own good. V'zeu kavanat pasuk shimru mishpat. And this is the secret of the words. When it says keep the judgment or keep the law, it doesn't mean the law. Milashon ve'aviv shamar et hadavar. It says about Jacob, when Joseph had his dreams, it said Jacob kept, shamar et hadavar, he kept them, which means he was waiting to see when they will come true. So the word lishmor or shimru mishpat doesn't mean keep it, but rather know and watch for the end to come. Shimru mishpat, which means even chas v'shalom when there's dinim, even chas v'shalom when there's negativity, wait and watch, and you will see that eventually the goodness will come out of it. Hamtinu ad sheta'avor midat hadin ve'hamishpat. Wait until the judgment, the dinim are removed. Ve'asu tzedakah. And with that knowledge, even in the time of judgment, even in the time of darkness, even in the time of negativity, know that there is justice here, that there is tzedakah, that there is righteousness here. Ve'ta'aminu she'akol hu letovah, and have certainty that this is all for the good. Ki krova yeshuati lavo. And if you have that certainty, which is shimru mishpat, which means even during the time of judgment, you keep it, which means you say, I see judgment right now, but I have no doubt that from this judgment comes tzedakah, comes charity, comes goodness, comes chesed, then krova yeshuati lavo. Then immediately, more quickly than otherwise, will the redemption, will the goodness sprout and come from that dark situation. Bimera yitgaleh hatzedakah ve'achesed, asher ka'et hu tamun ve'ne'elam me'einechem. Quickly will be revealed to you the goodness and the mercy that is within the situation that right now is still concealed for you. Now, connected to this is the teaching from Rabbi Naftali of Rufshitz, who says, "Shela'atid yitgale et kol hakorot otanu bagalut hazeh," that at the time of the final redemption, we're going to look back at everything that happened to us, both individually and collectively, through the galut, through the exile, through the darkness. V'nir'eh she'haya hakol tovot v'chasadim. And although again, and this is the state that will be achieved at the time of the Gemara Tikkun, but ultimately each one of us wants to come to a state where even in the darkness, you're able to see, and this is the consciousness of Mashiach, this is the consciousness of the end of the correction. But at least, even the people who don't achieve it before, when Mashiach comes, when the end of the correction comes, you will look back at both your life and everything that you went through and others went through, and you will see clearly all the chesed, all the kindness and all the mercy that was actually occurring. So this is the overriding teaching of this week's portion. Eile ha-mishpatim asher tasim lifnehem, which means that unfortunately for most people, judgment, mishpatim represents judgment or left column, they come lifnehem, they come before the great revelation. Our choice is two things. On the lowest level is to be clear, as the Midrash says, shimru mishpat. You're seeing judgment, you're seeing negativity, you're seeing darkness, hold on to it. Say 1 second. I know, I have no doubt, I can't see it now maybe, I have no doubt that within this mishpat, within this judgment, within this darkness, there is light. Now, that's the first level. The second level, which is where you want to be, is the state that we will reach at the Gemara Tikkun, which is that even in the mishpat, even in the judgment as it's occurring, you immediately connect to the chesed. Maybe you can't consciously understand it, but your soul is awakened to know it, and then krovai yeshuati lavo. Then you quicken the redemption, the light to be revealed from that darkness. It says, in the portion of Noach, during the time before the destruction of the world, Vatishachet haaretz lifnei haelokim, that the earth literally, again the verse literally says, that the earth, the land was destroyed before God, but the name is Elokim. We know that that name represents judgment. The earth was destroyed, or became filled with negativity, before Lifnei HaElokim, before Elokim. And the Ari explains, and the Kabbalists bring from the Ari, we know that the name Elokim, Aleph Lamed Hey Yud Mem, represents judgment. The letters before Elokim, which form, if you take, for instance, Aleph is the first letter, so it does not change, but Lamed, the letter before Lamed is Chaf, the letter before Hey is Daled, the letter before Yud is Tet, and the last Mem becomes a Mem Sofit, so it doesn't change. So the Aleph and Mem don't change, but the middle letter is Chaf, Daled, Tet. That name, the Ari says, the name is, which is Achdetam, is the secret name to awaken certainty. Achdetam. Why? Because Elokim represents judgment, represents negativity, represents darkness. When you if you want to go before the judgment, when there's still mercy, you focus on the name Achdetam. That name, the Ari says, whenever a person needs certainty, whenever a person needs strength, in the light of the Creator, especially when there's Elokim, when there's judgment, you focus on that name Achdetam. Shehu Shem HaBitachon, that is the name that you focus on when you need to and want to awaken certainty. Because the numerical value of the name Achdetam is the numerical value of trust or certainty in the light of the Creator. And this is hinted, as the Kabbalists teach, in the verse in Isaiah. It says, Bitchu b'Hashem ade'ad. Have certainty in the light of the Creator, and as I spoke about this on Rosh Hashanah, ade'ad, until the level of until, which means, especially in this year, which is the year Ayin Dalet 74, is the year that certainty is tested, especially beyond. Bitchu b'Hashem, this is the time you have to awaken certainty, ade'ad, beyond. But the word that the Creator uses in Isaiah to represent certainty, or the level of certainty that you want to get to, which means all of us are not there yet, is the word ad. And the word ad also is the numerical value of Achdetam, of that name. So the secret name that a person has to use if he or she wants to continuously awaken. It's funny, somebody asked me last night if there was ever a moment that my certainty was challenged. And the answer, of course, is always yes, but more than that, the understanding is our work is never done in achieving certainty until adead, until you're in a state, and this is the state that every one of us has to go through, and this is why challenges come, as we spoke about, for the purpose of reawakening, pushing us to go to total and complete certainty in the light of the Creator, adead. But if a person is not constantly aware that everything that happens to him or her is for the purpose of bringing them, the individual, to a higher level of certainty, then he or she is not part of the work of the Gemara Tikkun. Bitchu b'Hashem ade'ad, you have to awaken certainty. And what tool do you use? Ad 74, which is the numerical value of the name that Ari says is Shem HaBitachon, the name that awakens certainty. So it's a very practical tool, and one, again, I'm not sure if we all use it enough, but anytime a person feels lack of certainty, every time a person feels doubt, A person should focus on that name, as the Ari tells us. Achdetam, achdetam. This is the meaning of the verse. "Vatishachet haaretz lifnei haElokim." Why did destruction come into the world in the time of Noach? And why does chas v'shalom destruction come to an individual or to anybody? Because he loses lifnei haElokim. He loses that name which comes out from the secret of before Aleph Lamed Hey Yud Mem, which is, as we said, the name Achdetam, which is the name that the Kabbalist teaches, the name of certainty. And that's, again, a very practical and necessary tool. If we want to achieve through times of darkness and difficulty, ultimate and complete certainty, and you don't use this tool, it's probably impossible. Probably impossible. So what the Ari says is that every time an individual feels doubt, uncertainty, and he needs strengthening, focus on Ad. Focus on the name Achdetam. And this is the name, and you ask the Creator that through these 5 letters, Aleph, Chav, Dalet, Tet, Mem, Sofit, you receive the strength to a higher level of certainty. A higher level of certainty. This explains the ultimate level. If you use the name Achdetam and you're pushing yourself you're begging the Creator through every challenge, through every difficulty, through the name Aleph, Chav, Dalet, Tet, Mem, give me higher level of certainty, then ultimately where you want to get to is to a place where nothing causes you pain. Shizamen la'adam ezet tsar ve'ogmat nefesh, chas v'shalom. So that if a person, anytime he or she experiences difficulty, pain, lo yitatzev belibo klal. You need to, and this is what we have to get to. We get to a state, if you have to figure out how far we are from there, right? But that if you use this tool and use the spiritual work for the purpose of achieving certainty, then no matter what happens, you never experience pain. You have to awaken certainty that no matter what challenge, no matter what difficulty, the light of the Creator will take you out of that darkness. You have to, again, as we mentioned earlier, you have to be clear that within that judgment, within that negativity, within that darkness, there is endless light and endless mercy that the Creator instilled there. When a person achieves complete certainty, that everything is coming from the Creator, and sometimes the mercy comes in an obvious and clear and revealed way, and sometimes the mercy and the blessing comes in a concealed way. That to the physical eyes of a person who's not spiritually completely developed, they seem to be difficulties and problems. But a person who's doing their work and using that name, Aleph, Chaf, Dalet, Tet, Mem, and begging the Creator to give them higher and higher certainty, they are able to know and see that even within what to others seem to be difficulties, hold within them endless mercies. This, he explains, in this week's portion, it says, Al kol aveda asher yomar ki hu zeh, ad ha'elokim yavod var shnehem. Literally, it says, any loss, asher yomar ki hu zeh, where you see it as a loss, ad ha'elokim yavod var shnehem. You have to bring it, again, this isn't literal translation, but you bring it with the ad, which literally means until, but now we understand it means the secret of the name Aleph, Chav, Dalet, Tet, Mem. You bring Ad to Elokim, you bring that name and you change the judgment to mercy, to kindness, because you awaken your certainty. This is the secret of the verse. Al kol dvar aveda, anytime there's a loss, anytime there's pain, anytime there's darkness, Ad ha'elokim yavod dvar shnehem. You bring it, you have to awaken the name represented by the number 74, which is the name Aleph, Chav, Dalet, Tet, Mem. And through that, you transform the judgment into mercy. And the more a person can awaken this, the more powerful he or she is in transforming judgment into mercy. And that's the gift of this week's portion. And it's a tool, again, that we all should be using. There's a verse in Kohelet, B'yom tova heye betov. It says, on days where things are going well and things are good, enjoy it, or being good. U'b'yom ra'a re'eh. And on the bad days, it says, see, or look. B'yom tova heye betov. And when things are going well, when things are going good, enjoy it, or be in the goodness. U'b'yom ra'a re'eh. And in the days when things are going darkly, going negatively, look. Because the Creator created both light and darkness. That's the verse. What is it? What is the secret of that verse? In truth, as we said earlier, within every element of darkness, there is great light. Within every ra'ah, within every element of darkness, there is great light. But because the forces of darkness have the strength to conceal the goodness within them, and therefore the individual doesn't see them and doesn't experience them. But an individual is able to completely destroy his desire to receive for the self alone, his selfishness. He or she is able to completely see and reveal the light that is within those days of darkness. If a person is not pushing himself with strength and with vigor to break his or her desire to receive for the self alone, then he forces He forces the goodness to be concealed by the dark, what's called the dark days. Because what King Solomon, Shlomo Melech, is telling us, in the days of goodness, enjoy them. In the days of darkness, focus and push yourself to be able to see the light that is within there. In the darkness is always light. The Creator never creates only darkness or only light. Everything is created with that duality. The work is to be able to, even biyom ra'ah re'eh, even in the days and times when there's darkness revealed, have the ability to go deeper and see the goodness that's within there, knowing it's not possible. It's not possible that something's only dark. It's not possible. In every creation, there is the light and there's the darkness. Most of us don't believe that. Most of us think, okay, this is biyom tovah yeh betov. We take it literally. It means there's good days, biyom ra'ah re'eh. Bad days, just experience the bad. No, King Solomon says, focus on the goodness that must exist within the darkness. Kizelu matzeh, that's what right afterwards he says, because this zelu matzeh, everything created with light has darkness, everything created with darkness has light. We, every single one of us has the ability to either awaken the Yemei HaTov, the goodness that is within every day, or the Yemei Hara, or the darkness that is within the day. It's dependent on our spiritual work. And how strongly, and you have to be clear about this, how strongly we're pushing ourselves to diminish our desire to receive for the self alone. If a person is still, today, is still focused on their desire to receive for the self alone, their selfishness, they are concealing the goodness of this day with the darkness of this day. When a person is pushing him or herself to go against the desire to receive for the self alone, then they force the light within the goodness of this day to be revealed outside of the darkness of this day. But chas v'shalom, a person who doesn't, he forces the darkness of this day to conceal the goodness of this day. If you do not have the certainty that even within, there must be, within the days of darkness, goodness, you'll never be able to experience the goodness of that day. Every single day. It's not that there's good days and bad days. Every day has its goodness and its darkness. The question is, which of them will you experience? Biyom ra'ah re'eh, when you're experiencing the good, okay, maybe you don't have to worry about it. But when you're experiencing the darkness, biyom ra'ah re'eh, King Solomon tells us, pay attention. If it's a day of darkness, you have to know that there's goodness within there. It's up to you whether you'll be able to experience it. To the degree that you have certainty that within that darkness there's light. It's not easy to have that certainty. Because most of us think, okay, no, there's darkness now, again time, but tomorrow or next month, then there'll be light. But today is all dark. No. Within every darkness there is goodness, there is light. It's up to you to push yourself by awakening certainty of the goodness within the darkness, by awakening certainty in the light of the Creator, by destroying your desire to receive for the self alone, to reveal the goodness that is within the darkness of this day. העיקר שצריך להסתכל ולהאמין שגם בהרה בעצמו, בחינת הימרה, to know that within the days of darkness, גם שם יש טוב כי מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. that within that day, those days of darkness, there is light, and that certainty allows it to be revealed. Before the time of the final redemption, as we said earlier, there is going to be those judgments, the Emeira. But the understanding is that we have the ability, achieving certainty beyond where we are now, pushing ourselves to destroy our desire to receive for the self alone beyond what we've done until now. But to have certainty, in these days of darkness, there is great light. It's up to us. Through our certainty in the fact that there's great light within the day of darkness, through our certainty in the light of the Creator that we're pushing for with the meditation and Achtatam as we spoke about, and through the destruction of our desire to receive for the self alone, our ego, then you are able to reveal the light and the goodness within every single day. B'ezrat Hashem, may we have the strength, the clarity, the certainty that we can draw on this Shabbat to do the work in a new way, to push ourselves to certainty that we've never had before, to push ourselves in our spiritual work like we've never had before. B'ezrat Hashem, we can be the people that in every single day reveal the Yemei HaTov, the goodness within every single day, and not confused or darkened or brought down by the Yemeira, by the darkness that can surround Chas v'Shalom every day. Shabbat Shalom.